Hey there, aspiring historians. Do you ever feel like your brain just freezes up when you try to remember those complicated company acts and crown rule acts? Well, you're definitely not alone. Many of us struggle with these historical milestones, but guess what? I'm here to help you out. Today, we are diving into some amazing memory tricks that will make recalling the regulating acts from 1773 to 1947 feel like a walk in the park. But first, I want to hear from you. Go ahead and drop a comment below about which act do you find the trickiest. Is it the Regulating Act of 1773 or the Government of India Act 1935 or maybe the Indian Independence Act 1947? Let us see who are having the toughest time. Got it? Perfect. Now buckle up as we uncover some fun and effective tricks that will not only help you memorize these acts but also impress your friends. Let us make history fun together. So the first act is Regulating Act 1773. So just remember grey steps for strong political control. So you can imagine the grey steps for a strong political control where you get GSSPC as a mnemonic, where G will be Governor General of Bengal. So here Governor General of Bengal is declared, right? Governor of Bengal become Governor General of Bengal. Who was the first Governor General of Bengal? Warren Hastings. Then other Governor General will become subordinate governors, right? So S is subordination of governors, and they'll establish Supreme Court. That is S, Supreme Court establishment. Then P, prohibition of private trade, whereas C, control over company affairs. So it is very simple to remember great steps for strong political control. So this is a key to remember, and you can imagine the point from the picture. Okay, the next act is Amending Act of 1781. For this, we'll remember every revenue serves authority. This is a phrase we are going to remember, or you can use ERSA. So if you see E, exemption from Supreme Court. So company officials are exempted from the Supreme Court, and also revenue matters got exemption. So Supreme Court jurisdiction as also was less. A comes to be appeals process to Governor General in Council by provincial governors, not to Supreme Court. So from this you can remember Amending Act of 1781. So it is one is exemption of Supreme Court for these officials, and revenue matters and Supreme Court jurisdiction question, and appeal to Governor General in council by provincial governors. So you can remember the revenue, every revenue serves authority is a phrase. Okay. Then we have Pitt's India Act 1784. So phrase to remember, big cats dance. As we see in the picture, remember this. Big cats dance. So B is Board of Control, C is Court of Directors, and D is dual government. Under this act, dual government has been established and Board of Control along with Court of Directors has been specified, where Board of Control will take care of political aspects, whereas Court of Directors will take care of commercial activities. Next is Act of 1786. We'll remember the picture of Cornwallis. Cornwallis overrules council, or you can remember like cock. So what is C? C is Cornwallis refers to Lord Cornwallis' pivotal role. O is override, which represents his power to override council decision, like veto power he got. Then C, Commander-in-Chief. He became a Commander-in-Chief in 1786. So cock for 1786. Now comes to Charter Act of 1793. Here comes OPEC B, you can remember like OPEC countries we know, right? Those oil countries. OPEC B or Overall Power Extend Company Board. You can remember either of this. I'll remember OPEC B. It is easy for me. So 1793 Charter Act, OPEC B. What is O? Overrule. Refers to the overriding power extended to the future governors, which has been began in the last act, right? Where we have remembered Cock. Yes. So 1793 it has been extended. P. Powers indicates the increased power for the Governor General. E. Extend relate to the extended trade monopoly for the company. C. Commander-in-Chief again reminds about the membership restriction for the Commander-in-Chief. B. Board of Control represents the payment source for the Board of Control members. Okay. So the next one is Charter Act 1813, very important act. We will remember like a pest. This act is a pest controller. So what is P? P is permission to Christian missionary was given in this act. And then Western education has been introduced. Education promotion. S is sovereignty of British over East India Company territories has been declared. And then T comes trade monopoly got ended and also tax on people has been implemented. So 1813 Charter Act is a pest act for us, right? So the next one is Charter Act of 1833. We will remember like a glass. So 1833 is a glass act. What is glass? G is governors. Represents the Governor General of India. Now it is Governor General of India, not Bengal. It's India, being established as a supreme authority. So L, legislative, signifies the centralization of legislative powers. Similarly, there are also formation of what is that? A Macaulay Commission, right? So where IPC and CRPC later established Law Commission. Then A, authority, emphasizes the end of East India Company's commercial authority. So now it is purely administrative body. So that is for A authority. Okay. Then we have authority, or you can also remember like administrative body. Okay. Yes, shifts. It indicates that the shift towards open competition for civil service positions. However, it didn't come to action in 1833. So it got negated. Okay. Yes, system represents the overall system of governance being reorganized under this act. So hereafter whatever law they make, it is as an act. Okay, overall system got reorganized. So 1833 is a glass act. What is G? Governor General of India. G. L. What is legislative powers? Then A. Administrative authority. Yes. Shift towards open competition. Then another is it is overall system reorganization. That's a glass act for us. 1833 glass act. Then we have 1853. 1853 act is a loss act. We lost is what we guess. Okay. It's a trick. Loss act. L is legislative. Separation of legislative and executive power. Very, very important. Separation of executive from the legislature. Okay. So hereafter it is responsible government, isn't it? So we'll think like loss act for us 1853. Then we have open competition for civil services has been allowed in this act. Then S, supervised extended company rule on trust for the crown. Parliament could terminate it. Okay. Another S is system, local representation in the Legislative Council. 4 members from provincial government or local government has been allowed. So it's a Laws Act 1853. Then comes Crown Rule. Till here it was company rule. After that 1858 post Sipahi Mutiny in 1857 we'll start with Government of India Act of 1853. We'll remember like governed as a sovereign crown legally. We can entirely remember the statement itself because hereafter it is governed as a sovereign crown legally. You can remember the crown. So J is governance by crown. A, abolished double government. When it has been introduced, we have seen in Big Cat's Dance. D is dual government. Where it is introduced? Pitt's India Act. Right? So that has been abolished. A, abolition of double government over. Then we have S, Secretary of State. So Secretary of State has been created. C. Council of India has been established for 15 members. And then legal status. Secretary of State in Council made a corporate entity. So do you have any other suggestion where you can change this governed as sovereign crown legally to another phrase? If so, please comment below, okay? So next is Indian Council Act of 1861. I'll remember this as a DICE R. 1861. DICE R. Okay. What is DICE R? D. Decentralization of legislative powers. Year after decentralization starts. Okay. So where restore the legislative powers to Bombay and Madras presidencies. I. Indian representation. So Indians got representation who are nominated actually, non-official members like Raja of Banaras, Maharaja of Patiala, Sir Dinkar Rao, these people. So Indian representation, DICE. See, council expansion happened to Bengal, Northwestern province and Punjab. Then we have E, which is emergency ordinance power. So Viceroy got emergency ordinance power also. R is recognition of portfolio system. Very important. Recognition of portfolio system. It recognized portfolio system where council members manage specific departments. So departments, kind of ministries or portfolios. This is DICE R for us. The act is 1861. Next comes Indian Council Act of 1892. It's a bind act for us. Binding. Okay. B is where budget discussion can be possible now. Council were given the power to discuss budget. I. Increased members. Number of non-official members which has been introduced in our what act? 1861. That is DICE R Act. So that has been increased now in binding. So N. Nominated members. Non-official members nominated based on recommendations from local bodies like municipalities, chambers, etc. D. Discussion rights we got. Council were granted the right to address questions to the executive. Now you note down these mnemonics. Practice. Enjoy it. Okay. Picture is where you can remember. The next one is Indian Council Act of 1909. It's a big role act. Why big role? Because here only Minto Marley reform, where Minto becomes a what? That is a question here. Okay, you comment below. What is Minto known for? Okay. So big role. He has a big role in Indian history. In a negative way, of course. Yeah. B is budget deliberation. Members allowed to discuss the budget, ask questions and move resolutions. Okay. Already we have seen budget discussion in last act, which is that act, bind act. Now we have right to ask questions also. I. Increased council size. As usual, even in our bind, I is what? Increased council size. Here also. Increased council size, 1909. Okay. G. Governors Council inclusion. Indians got included in Executive Council. Important point. Who was the first person? Sinha. Satyendra Prasad Sinha was a law member. Okay. R is representation for Muslims. So this is where Minto was known for. So comment below why he is known with some specific phrase. What is it? Okay. O is official majority in council or central council was retained. L. Local groups represented. E is elections. Next comes Government of India Act 1919 or Montagu-Chelmsford Reform. So for this, see Montagu-Chelmsford Reform. Two words are there, right? Double D cover. So you can see the picture. Double D cover. So what is this double D cover? So double is diarchy introduced. Okay. Where at the center transferred and reserved subject has been started. O. Office of High Commissioner created for India in London. When did it been created? Under double D cover of 1919 Act. Okay. Upper and lower houses. So bicameral system started. Double D house. B. Budget separation. L. Limited franchise was there. Based on property, tax and qualification or the education. So D is direct election introduced. C. Communal representation extended. O is Official Inquiry Commission provided for the Statutory Commission. So which is called as Simon Commission later, right? So V is Viceroy's oversaw Prince's Chamber. Then we have Establishment of Public Service Commission, which is Central Public Service Commission. E. R is representation of a provinces. Provinces given authority over certain subjects, relaxing central control. So this act is for us 1919. See, 1919 again it is a double D cover, okay. Then we have Government of India Act 1935. What is it? It's a Fabric Pro bro. It's a Fabric Pro Act for us, 1935. So what is F? Federation Proposal, Provincial Autonomy, Power Division, Public Service Commissions, Reserve Bank, Federal Court, and Minority Representation. So here we have 3 P's. Federal Proposal is for F, Fabric, okay. Fab is Federal Proposal, whereas P we come with 3 P's: Provincial Autonomy, Power Division, Public Service Commissions. Along with we have R for Reserve Bank of India and Minority Representation. So we include as a Fabric Pro. So if you have any alternative mnemonic, you can suggest me. So finally we have Indian Independence Act of 1947. Eagle is a keyword. End of British rule, partition of India, Governor General, Viceroy position abolished, legislative authority to Constituent Assembly, and then civil service transition. Abolished the Secretary of State for India. Civil service continued under existing rule. E for existing rule, okay, until independence. So these are all the acts and the tricks. If you feel we can change some mnemonic, you can comment. Also, if you feel it is very interesting, you can comment that also and share to other aspirants who are suffering to learn this easily. That's all for today. We'll catch up in the next session.